And we're starting our coverage with the plane crash that took place in Ghatkopar in Mumbai suburbs yesterday. Now, we've opened our phone lines as well. Do call us, share your views as well. The question really is, did negligence lead to the loss of 5 lives in Mumbai's plane crash yesterday? The preliminary probe details indicate that the aircraft was under maintenance for the past 1.5 years and it was yet to obtain the fit-to-fly certificate by the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or the DGCA, which is a must. The aircraft last flew on the 22nd of February in the year 2008. Remember, this was 10 years ago when it was with the UP government. Meanwhile, in 2014, the aircraft had crash landed in Allahabad, after which it was declared unfit for flying. Passing the buck, Yuva Aviation Private Limited has put the onus now on the MRO, saying that all the necessary permits were given by the maintenance company. However, problems increasing for the firm as the UP government is now likely to lodge a complaint against them for not removing the UP government logo with its official emblem from the aircraft. BJP MP Kirit Somaiya, in his explosive letter to the Aviation Ministry, has demanded answers over how an aircraft under repair be allowed to undertake test run over a residential area in Mumbai. Our phone lines are now open. Time to track down on the fraud aviators. We're also being joined by Praful Bakshi, aircraft accident investigator, Kanu Gohel, the executive director of Indemar Aviation Private Limited. He formerly used to be with the DGCA as well. And this is a company where they were maintaining the chopper with which Kanu Gohel is rightly the executive director. Zeba is also joining us live from Delhi. We've got Radhika joining us live from Mumbai and Pranshu joining us live from Lucknow. First off, let us start with Praful Bakshi, the aircraft accident investigator. Praful Bakshi, what is your first up thought on what really must have transpired in this particular accident? The accident, of course, took place on the back of the fact that the aircraft was not fit to fly. The aircraft has crash landed once before as well, and still they did a test run, risking 4 lives who were on board and 1 pedestrian that got killed in the process.
You're very right. But the first thought which comes any time when an aircraft even takes off is that the aircraft has it been declared airworthy? What are the list of the inspections which have been carried out? Engine, airframe, avionics, everything. And who has declared it fit? And whether the company which was carrying out these inspections, are they capable? Are they properly manned? Have they been? Do they have the trained manpower? Have they been cleared by the DGCA to carry out this job? And has DGCA checked up the proficiency of these people? Have they given them got the certificates to declare an aircraft fit? Now comes the aircraft. Now the background of the aircraft is it crashed in 2014, and after that it was declared unfit. It was on the ground, auctioned, and it was lying as a salvaged aircraft, and thereafter repaired, under repair for 1.5 years, and now undergoing a test flight. Now, who cleared the test flight? Is there the requirement? First thing, we'll have to go to the rules of the DGCA. Is DGCA supposed to clear every test flight, or the test flight has been given, carried out and certified, then the DGCA comes and inspects. Now, this lacuna has to be checked properly.
Absolutely.
And thereafter, we have to now check up.
Yes, go on. Complete your point. Yes. Complete your point, Praful Bakshi.
You see, what I'm telling you is that once everything, this has been ascertained that these procedures had taken place, now comes the inquiry. That the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder, if there was, will tell you exactly what happened. First thing is, it was an air test. It was after 1 hour of air test, coming back to land. Was the ILS available at in this condition at Santa Cruz, or was it landing at Juhu? Where was it landing? And it took off from Juhu then, or Santa Cruz. We have to be very clear. The mixed reports coming. And was it of VFR condition or IFR condition? Because it is a bad weather and extreme bad weather. Were the pilots cleared to fly in the bad weather? Was the aircraft cleared to fly in the bad weather? Was the ILS and avionics compatible for landing? And the receiver end on the runway, were they compatible? All this thing will have to be
So these are very pertinent questions that you're posing, Praful Bakshi, right there. Very, very pertinent questions. In fact, Kanu Goen is also with us. Kanu Goen, you've gone on to agree that your maintenance company, all right, we are going to be joined by Kanu Goen in just about a bit, but we'll patch that phone line with Kanu Goen, who's the Executive Director of Indema Aviation Private Limited Company, which were maintaining the chopper, and he has agreed that he's the director with the company that undertook the maintenance task and gave a green certificate for yesterday's test flight. Now, to get more information on this, Zeba Varsi, who tracks the aviation space, is joining us live. Zeba, why don't you bring us up to speed with the latest as far as this particular company is concerned? They've gone on to agree that they were the ones who undertook the maintenance and gave the fit to fly certificate as well.
Chaiti, we have been constantly questioning UI Aviation, which is the owner of that aircraft, which purchased it from the Uttar Pradesh government. We've also been in touch with Indema Aviation, which is the company which was outsourced by UI Aviation for undertaking the maintenance work. Now, let's get first things first. UI Aviation denies any wrongdoing on its part. It says that it has in fact undergone over 10 crore rupees in the maintenance and repair work of this aircraft. It has outsourced it to Indema Aviation, which is another Mumbai-based MRO, which was granted the task of undertaking maintenance work. Now, this company is the one which gave the green certificate, which is a must for any test flight to take place. We spoke to Mr. Kanu Goen, who is the director of this repair maintenance company, and he told CNN News 18 that of course facts need to be investigated, but all necessary corrections were looked into. The aircraft was completely monitored. It was checked thoroughly before the green certificate, which was given under the supervision of DGCA officials. So the green certificate, which is essentially a green signal before any flight can take a test flight, any aircraft can take a test flight, was given by this maintenance company, which is directed by Mr. Kanu Goen, who's a former DGCA, and it was done under the supervision of the Director General Civil Aviation. So that is, of course, a big question mark on whether every correction was made, whether every
and we'll try to bring Kanu Goen to make him answer these questions in just about a bit. Yes.
Resulted in a crash.
Right. We'll also try to get Kanu Goen on the camera to make him answer these questions. He was formerly with the DGCA, plus he was the Executive Director of Indema Aviation Private Limited that was maintaining this particular chopper. Yashwant Shenoy, who is a petitioner, who has filed a special leave petition in the Supreme Court, is highlighting the dangers posed to aircrafts by high-rises near the Mumbai aircraft. He's filed a petition. Yashwant Shenoy, walk us through your petition now. Yashwant Shenoy, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Please go on. Please go on.
See, it's very easy to right now call up UI Aviation, the MROs, all of it. But just hold on for a minute. Let us see who is actually responsible.
Okay.
What is the DGCA, the regulator, doing? What is Airport Authority doing? What is Ministry of Civil Aviation doing? And I did not file an SLP overnight. I filed it much before, after the Bombay High Court dismissed my plea. Now, this matter has been in the court since 2014. And since 2010, I've been fighting this after the Mangalore air crash, saying that the safety situation in India is very bad. Now, let me point out something very, very clearly. If you want to know about organized crime, don't look at Dawood Ibrahim. Look at the government of India. Look at the government of India. Look at the Ministry of Civil Aviation. There is R.N. Chaubey, who is running a ring with the DGCA, with the Airport Authority of India, all of them. And this was clearly exposed by me in the court. And as I told you, you look into my affidavits in the court filed in 2015. I had predicted this is going to happen. And this will happen. And I'm again saying this is only a teaser. You will have a large commercial aircraft going down in Mumbai. Take my words, mark my words, record this video, keep it for future use. I'm pointing it out and I'm absolutely certain about it.
I mean, we hope that doesn't happen. But Yashwant Shenoy, what are you trying to say? You're trying to say that the danger has been posed by to the aircrafts by all these high rises in Mumbai. But there is a certain provision that around the aircrafts, there are a certain particular height. Beyond that, the buildings cannot be constructed. The FSI is not given to the buildings in the first place as well. And do you think Mumbai has not been able to maintain that as a city?
Forget about around the airport. Look at the approach. The affidavit filed by the airport authority says that there are 450 obstacles in the approach path. Forget about the inner horizontal surface, which is a 4 kilometer.
Can you repeat the last point? Can you repeat the last point? What did you just say?
This is approach. Approach is the funnel where the aircraft takes off and lands. It is a zero obstacle zone where in Mumbai you are having 450 obstacles. 450 obstacles. Bombay High Court had ordered demolition. Not one building has been demolished. Not one building. Now, that matter, one particular judge has disposed it off on a technical ground, saying that there is change in rules. And that is where I went to the Supreme Court.
So you're whistleblowing, Yashwant Shenoy, you're whistleblowing that this is a catastrophe waiting to happen given the fact that there are 450 obstacles in Mumbai before you end up landing a flight in Mumbai?
Exactly. And just wait before that. My PIL in Delhi High Court, the DGC has filed an affidavit saying that there are 365 obstacles in Trivandrum, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad. Please ask DGCA which airport have they spared. Now I will point out something else. The same guy in DGCA, Joint Director General Rawat, he is in charge of certificate of airworthiness. He is in charge of obstacles. He on one hand signs the certificate of airworthiness to aircraft which are unworthy of flying, and on the other hand, he allows buildings to penetrate the obstacle surface, and he says, as an exemption, that if there is an aircraft which is underperforming, he cannot guarantee whether the aircraft will come and impact the building. This is the same guy doing, and let me tell you, if I go and file an FIR, if I go to the court, first thing that the government of India is going to do is, they are going to say we are not giving a sanction under section 197 of CRPC. They are protecting. If you say Dawood Ibrahim is protected by ISI, let me tell you, the likes of R.N. Chaubey, the likes of B.S. Buller, the likes of Guru Prasad Mohapatra, they are protected by none other than Government of India. And I will tell you, this thing people will forget. Only one life lost. 4 people in the aircraft died. I'm telling you, even you media will forget it in one week's time.
No, we will not forget. We'll continue to track the story. We will follow this story up. Yashwant, sorry about interrupting you. We've got some breaking news coming in. I'm coming back to you. There's some breaking news that is coming in. Let's go straight across to news that's breaking at this point of time. We're getting some breaking news coming in at this point of time. BJP MP Kirit Somaiya has written a letter to the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and this he has done, demanding a stern review of the guidelines that dictate the use of old repaired aircrafts. In the explosive letter that he's written, the BJP MP for Ghatkopar, Mumbai, has raised questions over the check-ins in place for under-repair aircrafts. Kirit Somaiya asks, how can a plane undergoing a major repair was allowed to fly on such a dense residential zone in the first place? He's further gone to ask, who gave the permission to such aircrafts, deeming them fit to fly, that too in a residential area? Edwin's joining us now from the newsroom for more on this story. Edwin, this is a huge development coming in where Kirit Somaiya has written a letter to the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and he's now demanding a stern review of the guidelines that dictate the use of old repaired aircrafts. He's written an explosive letter and he's questioning how was this aircraft allowed to fly in a dense residential area. What more do we have, Edwin? All right, we're getting some issue with the...
written...
Yeah, okay. All right, we can hear you now.
That, so we have accessed that letter that Dr. Kirit Somaiya, BJP leader from Maharashtra, had addressed to Suresh Prabhu, the Union Minister for Civil Aviation. This was a letter that he had written after he had visited the crash site in Ghatkopar yesterday. The letter has been dated 28th June, that is yesterday. And interestingly, Chaiti, he has gone on to give some suggestions here which are quite similar to the kind of suggestions and observations that we here at CNN News 18 have been making. He has put out 5 observations. The first among them is that how did a plane which was under repair or under repair for a test run is allowed to fly in such a densely populated area? He also goes on to question that, who gave this permission or certified such an aircraft to be fit for flying, that too over a residential area. This aspect about the residential area, Chaiti, is something that we here at CNN News 18 have also been raising since yesterday, that how is it that a test flight is allowed to be conducted over such a densely populated area. Chaiti, you know Mumbai pretty well, and you know how densely, how clustered these areas are when it comes to the apartments and buildings there. And it was in such an area that these test flights are allowed to be conducted. So, Kirit Somaiya, BJP leader, raising some valid points in this letter, in this explosive letter, as you had mentioned earlier, Chaiti, asking some pointed questions to the Union Minister for Civil Aviation, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, about what exactly are the changes that he was going to bring about as far as these regulations by the DGCA is concerned when it comes to taking care of planes which are undergoing repairs and test runs.
We're waiting for that answer coming in from the Ministry of Civil Aviation now. But Edwin Thomas, thank you so much for walking us through this explosive letter that has been written by BJP MP Kirit Somaiya questioning the Ministry of Civil Aviation. We have a first caller through. Remember, our phone lines are open. There's a number flashing across your screen. Please call us and give us your views as well. We've got Aftab who's joining us from Jeddah. Aftab, what is your opinion on this entire unfortunate incident that is taking place in Mumbai?
Yeah, hi, good morning, folks.
Good morning.
Thank you for this opportunity. Very unfortunate, tragic incident which could have been easily avoided.
Yeah.
The main culprit here is the DGCA, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
They failed to ensure safety norms. And you know, I'm a safety specialist myself in healthcare. I'm a doctor.
Okay.
Basically, what they should have, you know, the government of Uttar Pradesh is also culpable because they sold an aircraft which was unworthy for flying, and they allowed somebody else to take this aircraft to use it for flying. So they should also be held responsible. Number three, regrettably, the pilots did not display the degree of sense of safety which every pilot should have had. You know, they should not have got into that plane. They should not have taken off, especially in the inclement weather that we had in Bombay yesterday.
All right, point taken. So these are the main 2 points that you would like to make, Aftab. Dr. Aftab is questioning why was the UP government keen on selling this aircraft to UY Aviation in the first place. Pranshu Mishra is joining us live from Lucknow. Pranshu, it is the UP government now that wants to sue UY Aviation. Dr. Aftab, who was our viewer, joined us and questioned as to why the UP government sold this aircraft in the first place. What's going on with that angle?
Well, see, that is one allegation that has been made against the UP government, and in fact, the clarification which has come in from government is that the auction took place after the due sanctions and the formalities being conducted through DGCA and the other government agencies. Now, what is the exact protocol of it, what is the exact nature of it before you dispose of or auction off a plane which has been, because of earlier norms or earlier rules, has been declared unfit for flying. That is something about which the DGCA has also, of course, has to look into. But UP government's claim is that after 2014's crash landing, it was put on hold, it was grounded, and then it was subsequently put on a test inquiry, and inquiry report said that it is unfit for flying. It was then after only the due procedure and protocol that it was sold out. But then the bigger question is that if this due procedure or protocol was followed before it was actually auctioned off, then under what circumstances a plane which was declared unfit for flying could get a certificate for being auctioned off. So this is something which I think also needs to be questioned from the DGCA officials. But government clearly thinking to file a further complaint with the DGCA against the company the particular company to which the plane was sold on the ground that yes, UI Aviation, that why this logo of UP government was being used over the period of 4 years, despite it not being a UP government property anymore.
And Pranshu, this is the same flight that has crash landed once in Allahabad as well.
Oh yes, that's right. It was purchased in 1995 by the UP government, and a similar craft of the same model has also been purchased in 2008. At this stage, this particular craft, which has now met with an accident yesterday, it has crash landed in Allahabad in 2014, after which it was grounded. The plane which was bought in 2008 during Mayawati's government that too is presently under technical maintenance, so it is also off ground. So it seems that there is probably some problem with this particular craft as well, because the two planes of the same make, which are presently, which were initially purchased by the UP government, both were grounded on the reasons of having a technical fault and not being fit for flying.
Well, a lot of questions that need to be answered by the authorities right there on that story. We have our other caller, which is through with us. Raj is joining us from Chennai with his views. Remember, our phone lines are open. Call us now on this number that is flashing across your screens. Raj, you've called in. You want to give your views. What do you think of this unfortunate incident that took place in Mumbai? Should the authorities be made answerable? Of course, we are putting pressure to make them answerable, but there is no convincing answer as yet.
Yeah. Well, thanks for giving me the time to express my opinion.
Go on.
First of all, there is a frenzy activity of, trying to refurbish many of the small aircrafts that are in India. At present, probably because the election is around the corner and, a lot of VIPs would start using it. That is one point. Two, so that makes it even more important for us to make sure that these aircrafts are, having airworthiness. Two, we will have to wait for the ATC authorities, that is the air traffic control authorities, to give their opinion. And three, above all these, we will have to wait for the data. I mean, the black box has been picked up from the debris, and we will have to wait for the thing before we jump into any conclusions, because air accidents happen, and we cannot conclude.
Very good point. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So let us give it a fair chance to everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Raj, for giving us a call. We encourage all our viewers to give us a call and give your views as well right here. The numbers flashing across your screens. Yashwant Shenoy, who's the petitioner in this particular case, he's filed a petition much earlier to this particular crash taking place. He filed this petition when the Mangalore crash took place and did highlight the same situation. A catastrophe like this could have taken place. Is still with us live. Yashwant, I believe you wanted to make some more points as far as this particular petition is concerned. You said, mark my words, Mumbai is a place where this kind of an accident could perhaps take place in the future as well, given the fact that there are too many high-rise buildings out there.
I'm again reiterating that what I am telling you is based on facts. I am not trying to add fuel to the fire, but these are facts. The ATC, I'll tell you simple things. Aircraft operations is a serious business. Let me say, it starts with the aerodrome design. Aerodrome design, it speaks about how an aerodrome should be, what would be the safety features around it. That is exactly what my petition is all about. I stated that we have not followed any regulations as regards aerodrome design. That is one. Now comes number two. Look at the ATC. ATC's communication, navigation, surveillance systems, they do not function. Now look into this. These buildings are not just obstructions to the flight path. They also bounce off very important signals from these equipments. Therefore, the communication between ATC and the pilots need not be at its best. And I will point out how many aircraft events, that means air miss events have happened in the Mumbai sky. Just take a look at it. Then comes the third part. Look at how airlines operate. They push their pilots. It's easy to blame a pilot, but they push their pilots.
Yashwant, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back to you straight after this. We're getting some breaking news coming in there. Yuva Aviation has put out a statement. Anil Chauhan, who is the head of Yuva Aviation Operations, has denied any kind of wrongdoing. In his statement that he's just put out, he says, we purchased it from Silver Jubilee. Silver Jubilee bought it from UP government. We purchased it from Silver Jubilee in August 2016. Silver Jubilee was not in a position to repair it. Then we registered it in our name. We spent almost 10 crore rupees for the repair of this plane in the last year and a half. We got the requisite permission from the DGCA to do the test flight. We got all approvals from DGCA in the last 1 month. A fit to fly certificate was issued by Indamar Base on the approval given by DGCA. So we have not done anything against the norms. This has been our loss. That's the statement that is coming in. Anil Chauhan making a very strong statement right there. Zeba Varsi, who tracks the aviation space, let's go straight across to her. Zeba, Anil Chauhan is saying that a fit to fly certificate was issued by that maintenance company and there was an approval that was given by the DGCA as well. Clearly now, this maintenance company and the DGCA need to be questioned and held responsible.
Several pertinent questions are being raised against the DGCA. The aircraft owner, UI Aviation, has also in a way passed the buck to the maintenance company as well as DGCA, where we have with us on our show several callers questioning the DGCA. The regulator has a lot to answer for, because firstly, the last safe flight that this aircraft has had is way back in 2008, almost a decade ago. After which it crash landed in 2014 and had to be sold off because it was not fit for flying. So an aircraft which was not fit for flying, we need to understand what were the necessary corrections and repair work that were undertaken by the maintenance company under the supervision of DGCA that made them believe that it was fit to fly. It was fit to fly for a test flight, and that too over a densely populated region like Mumbai. Now, certain questions that are being red flagged that DGCA now needs to answer, and CNN News 18 has been posing these questions to the Director General Civil Aviation, is that first, on what basis was the green certificate given to the aircraft to take that test flight yesterday?
Very pertinent question, yes.
It is a compulsion to have a green certificate, which is essentially a go-ahead. It is a go-ahead for any flight to take off, even if it is for an engineering test flight, which was in this case. Secondly, was the DGCA monitoring that a test flight such as this of an aircraft which has a history of being not fit to fly, was necessary monitoring done to see that it's taking off?
Oh, absolutely. I can see Praful Bakshi wants to come in. One second. Praful Bakshi wants to come in. He's an aircraft accident investigator. Praful Bakshi, a fit to fly certificate was issued by Andamar, and that's the statement that is coming in. Andamar Aviation Private Limited and the DGCA has given an approval. It really looks like a lot of questions need to be raised as far as the safety and security is concerned, and the certificates that are being issued by the maintenance company and the Director General of Civil Aviation as well. You were waiting to make a point, Praful Bakshi. Go on.
I want to make a point, and I made this point very much earlier, in a number of forums. The question is, the rules and regulation of DGCA have to be analyzed and inspected by an independent aviation body consisting of leading aviators and Indian Air Force joined together, or the total Indian aviation has to be inspected. The rules, the DGCA rules must be proper, because the person who is running the DGCA,
so you're saying the rules must be tweaked,
or a aircraftman, the rules probably have to be checked up again for compatibility with the situation. The modernization programs have gone way beyond, and the rules are 1942 rules. Now this aspect has to be checked in. How compatible is DGCA? Has it ordered the supervision of various airfields, the ATCs, the small airfields, the aviation activities taking place is not there. This has been suggested a number of times because it doesn't suit people. That's why this happens.
So you're saying the rules which are being put out by the DGCA at this point of time, Praful Bakshi, are all archaic, written many years ago, and have to be revised and checked up.
That's right.
All right. Any particular points that you'd like to highlight from the rule book that need to be tweaked?
The first thing is the person who's running the DGCA himself an aviator or an aviation expert? Bureaucracy has no place there. Why should the DGCA be run by anybody who is not an aviation expert? Because DGCA is a flying intensive body. You cannot have anybody who is MA in Sanskrit or lecturer from somewhere come and sit down there. It cannot happen. We must understand this point first, because it is a flying intensive body, and thereafter flying is the most serious thing which happens. Then flight safety, these aspects, who is inspecting? And the people, if you have professionals, they are at a lower level and their voice is stifled. That is why things don't come up, because it does not suit the people. Even if this UAV, the private company, Mr. Chauhan, is the owner, but he has got a lot of experts sitting there to help him. So the proper experts are required. But here is a private body. DGCA is not a private body, it's a national body. It requires an expert, and thereafter the supervision. What are the supervisory staffs at airfields, ATCs, monitoring of ATC? And what we have to wait for the flight data recorder and
the black
cockpit
box
voice recorder. When that comes out, everything yes will come out.
So prima facie now it looks
asking a lot of questions.
Right. Prima facie now it looks like a lot of norms were flouted and a lot of authorities need to be answerable, including Yuva Aviation that owns this particular aircraft. I thank you, Praful Bakshi, for your viewpoint, and of course Yashwant Sinha for joining us, Shinoy rather for joining us as well, Zeba, Radhika, Pranshu, all joining us live. Thanks so much for bringing us all those updates right there. Moving on now, in an exclusive interview with CNN News 18's Tanushree Pandey, Environment Minister Harsh